Right now, settle back and enjoy full live commentary from Tynecastle. A big one. Hearts against Dundee United with Lee Miller, John Robertson and Al Lamont.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome to Sunny Gorgie. It's third and fourth from last season. Go head to head in the final game of the weekend. Hearts of European football to look forward to later this week. But it's a phrase Dundee United would like to erase from their minds at the moment after a humiliating result in midweek. The biggest defeat United have suffered in 65 years, and this could be another tricky afternoon against a side who put 12 past them last season, including a 5-2 defeat here in November. That was the only meeting of the sides here at Tynecastle. The other three all came at Tannadice, but Hearts emerged unbeaten from all of them, winning 3 and drawing the other. But goals aplenty in those matches as things get underway at Tynecastle. Hearts going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand in their traditional home kit, maroon top, white shorts, maroon socks. United also in their home kit, tangerine top, black shorts and tangerine socks. And of course they need to be much, much better than they were during the week if they're to come away from this one with anything. But it's Hearts on the attack on the right hand side. It's Devlin across goal. Would you believe it? What a start for Hearts, and it's Lawrence Shanklin against his former side. And anyone who was worried about a Dundee United's collapse from an early goal, well, that might just be confirmed, because Hearts have scored within a minute. It's Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
That's a brilliant goal. I mean, they move down the right-hand side, little give and go with Boys, Forrest. They get behind United. It's the simplest goal, but a perfect goal. And what Hearts have been like, Lawrence Shanklin lurking in the 6-yard box, taps it in. 42 seconds gone. Look out, United.
Oh no, honestly, that for me is too easy. It's too easy. It's not amazing play as such. Could be a bit of movement, could be a bit of interchange, and Shanklin doing what he does best. He's in between the sticks and pokes it home, and it's going to be a long afternoon for Dundee United now.
40 goals for Lawrence Shanklin in his 2 seasons at Tannadice. He's come back to haunt them with their second goal of the season for Hearts, off the mark at Easter Road, already endearing himself to the home fans. But boys, he done that again this afternoon. I almost couldn't believe that it opened up quite so easily and it went in quite so easily. It just looked so simple as the offside flag goes up against Boyce, but he left it and it goes back down, and it's Barry Mackay picking up on the right as Hearts look to inflict further misery on the visiting side, who must be absolutely shell-shocked. The first thing you're looking for from them is a reaction to that terrible defeat. And it's a worst possible reaction at the start of this game, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. Birighitti beaten already as he was 7 times in Alkmaar. You'll have a goal kick 2.5 minutes in. Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
The worst possible start for Dundee United. You can see in terms of shape with Dundee United, Charlie Mulgrew seems to be playing just in front of the back four to try and obviously stifle the balls getting into Shanklin. But Boyce is such a clever player that he will just drop into the pockets and pick up the ball, and as he's done so far, and he's very clever. Even the offside he was there, he's come out and put his hands up. He's not affecting play, and then they've got another attack at goal.
Well, the home fans enjoying the lightning start their side have made to this game, and almost packed out Tynecastle. To be fair, United have sold all their section out as well. The loyalty of football fans knows no bounds as their captain Ryan Edwards picks up 15 yards or so inside his own half. Looks to send the diagonal forward, looking for Tony Watt, who's playing right through the middle this afternoon, but he was fouling Craig Halkett there, and it will be a free kick to Hearts just inside the penalty area, or just outside it as Michael Smith has placed the ball, and Craig Gordon will look to take this one. What a start for Hearts, what a start for Lawrence Shanklin. And United must recover. Hearts in easy possession at the back at the moment. Craig Halkett now wearing 4 after the departure of John Souttar. It's Kai Rowles, the Australian. My first look at him in a Hearts jersey. Craig Gordon has possession. About 12 yards out from his goal. In no great hurry to send it forward. Dundee United trying to regroup after an awful beginning to the game. Cochrane didn't quite read Gordon's pass. Hearts latching onto it, but Ryall's out of play. United will have a throw-in on this near side, midway inside the Hearts half. It's Liam Smith back to Edwards, and square for Ross Graham. Edwards once more, just inside his own half, looking up for options. None obvious, so he goes square again to Graham, who's closed down by Boyce. Back square again to Edwards, who himself is closed down by Mackay. Edwards takes another touch and then clips it forward up towards Middleton, who chests it down, looking to try and link with Cujo, but it's out of play. The referee has given that throw to United. Perhaps took a slight nick off the Hearts player. I didn't see it myself, John.
Yeah, it certainly looked a Hearts ball, but you can now, a tremendous view up here, you can see the shape of the team. Hearts, as we expected, 4-2-3-1 with Boyce just behind Shanklin. But United have got a diamond there, I think, Lee, as well. That they've got Charlie Mulgrew to pick up Boyce, and Cujo's put off the front to try and get behind Hearts, but it's certainly not working at the moment.
Hearts come again on the angle of the penalty area. The shot comes in and it's deflected away. It was Alan Forrest who was motoring forward and got the shot in, but it was blocked behind. It will be a Hearts corner as Robbie Nielsen's side looked to score a quick fire second. 6 minutes played, they've already got one. It came inside the first 45 seconds, and it came from the boot of Lawrence Shanklin at the near post, tucking it home. And here they have a corner on that far side. Flighted in, right-footed towards Boyce as well to win the jump over Graham, and then it's helped back into the penalty area. Down the header comes, saved, and then slid in and away behind for a goal kick in the end. It was another almost calamity in the United 6-yard box as they failed to defend. Birigiti keeping the first effort out. My goodness, almost a second Hearts goal.
That was suicidal defending there. Everybody just switched off. I think it was Rouse that went and got to that kind of a stray ball, but every one of the Dundee United defenders switched off as if the ball was dead. The goalkeeper does well in the end, but
United need to dig in because they look fragile. We spoke about it, that normally you don't get done twice, but that goal has spooked them. There's no doubt about that. They look really fragile.
There's panic in the 18-yard box, and I don't think the goalkeeper's helping that. He made a few mistakes the other night. I don't want to keep going back to the other night, but there was a few mistakes made there, and I don't think the defenders have got much confidence in him just now.
Yeah, but even you go back to the initial corner, I mean, Graham's beaten in the jump by Liam Boyce, who's good in the air but has no right to climb above Ross Graham. His Hearts come forward once more. Shanklin causing problems for his former side again. Hacked away down the right by United. Mulgrew picks up in the middle of the park, looking to bring a bit of composure to the game. Slides it infield, does well to find Watt. Now Cujo lays it back for Harks. That's a good ball from Harks, and it's Middleton over on the left-hand side, clips it into the middle. No United player can get there. It'll come back to Middleton though out on that far side. Forrest's back there with him. Middleton once more on the left for United. Mulgrew now midway inside the Hearts half, clips it inside, couldn't find Cujo, and here come Hearts on the counter, led by Barry Mackay, sprinting upfield up against Edwards, trying to take him on the outside. He'll go for goal, tipped wide by Birigiti. It might just have been creeping wide. In any case, Birigiti couldn't take the chance. Hearts 1, United 0.
Well, that kind of sums up the game so far. Probably tremendous piece of play for Dundee United there. Worked the ball up the park. Mulgrew, Watt, Cujo, great switch to Middleton. That's what United need. Need to get their foot on the ball. Need to spend some time on it. But then one slack pass and it's 2v2, and I think it's just sneaking inside. I think Birigiti needs to get
it's a great save.
touch, and that's a fabulous save.
I was just about to say, Charlie Mulgrew gives you that composure at the midfield, and then he just gives the ball away.
Yeah, there's a bit of slackness there from the veteran, and Hearts will have the corner to be taken by Cochrane. Swings it into the 6-yard box, headed away by Edwards out to this near side for a throw-in. At least it was a United head getting to the first contact inside their own penalty area. Throw into Hearts then, 9 minutes played, 1-0 Hearts lead, 5-0 Celtic earlier in the day as they return to the top of the table on goal difference from Rangers. Hearts looking to move on to 7 points, just a couple of points in behind the top two if they can earn a victory this afternoon. United looking for their first win of the season in the league. It's a good tricky play from Forrest. Shot comes in into the arms of Birighitti. Holds on to that one well, but the home fans delighted from what they're seeing in these early stages. 1-0 it stands.
Well, Hearts have started how you want it to do. They're testing United here and saying, well, if you are still nervous, if you are still fragile from the other night, we're going to get at you. And the intent is clear. United need to do what they done just a few minutes ago. Get their foot in the ball, keep the ball, quieten the crowd down, try and slow the game down, and just play their way into the match.
I find it really difficult to deal with Hearts' movement. Hearts front 4, 5, they're all interchanging and none of the United players know how to pick up. It's very difficult to combat that.
Yeah, Mackay and Boyce, and then you've got George Grant creeping up there as well, in behind Shankland, and then to add to that you've got Forrest on one flank at the moment, Cochrane playing high on the left. United have it back with just over 10 minutes played. They trail by a goal to nil. It's Liam Smith on the near side, the United right on the halfway line, tries to get away from Barry Mackay. There's Graham, plays the wall pass there with McGrath. Edwards just inside his own territory now, square for Ross Graham. United look to have just settled slightly after that very early setback. Edwards fires it forward, it's a really hopeful one, and overhit in the end. Goal kick to Hearts, who haven't really been tested at the back thus far. Craig Gordon had nothing to do.
No, they're not testing. I'm a wee bit surprised because they've got United under the cosh here. I'd have thought they'd have been really pressing high, really putting them under pressure, not giving them a breather at all. But Hearts have just dropped off there and allowed United to get easy possession. And I think if you allow that to happen, United will play themselves back into the match here. But you'd have think that early goal, 2 or 3 chances, forced to keep into a couple of good saves, keep the pressure on, keep putting them under pressure, keep closing them down, keep pressing the ball.
Here come Hearts, but Mackay couldn't find Shankland. Wonderful pass for the goal at Easter Roads last weekend. Cochrane pulling back Cujo. Cujo takes a free kick quickly. I'm not sure his teammates were ready for it, but McGrath is then caught in possession. Colin Stephen deciding no free kick there as McGrath hit the deck. Now it's Mackay on the left-hand side for Hearts, about 20 yards from the corner flag. Shankland comes out to the left to receive. Mackay once more measures the pass back for Devlin, 25 yards from goal. Low drive, but it's a comfortable take for Birighitti. And another shot on target from Hearts, and they're finding spaces. Devlin was in an awful lot of space there, 30 yards from goal.
Yeah, the centre-halves don't know whether to stick or twist with Shankland. He's dropped into that wee pocket. It's such a dangerous area. It's like a number 10 position, and he's finding himself on the ball, and Boyce can come in and interchange with him, and it's good movement from Hearts. They obviously work at it. They really work at it.
I think they've worked it from the other night there, Lee. If you remember, they put their full-backs right up, and their wide men drifted in, and the full-backs don't know where to go with them or stay with them.
They were threading balls in there.
Threading balls through, and Hearts are doing exactly the same so far.
There's a run made out there on the left-hand side, which wasn't seen. It was Behic of United advancing down the flank. But United have the ball in the middle of the park. It's Harks. Cujo down the right-hand side, straight out of play. Just wondering, John, you talk about the vantage point. It actually looks more like Hearts are playing a 3 now, doesn't it? With Cochrane,
Cochrane will drop in with Smith.
And Forrest. Forrest is the wing back at the moment.
No, Cochrane's just pushing on. Smith will push on, and you've got them out there. See, there's the back 4 there. It's just,
I see what you mean.
It's exactly what AZ done the other night there. They've pushed their 2 full-backs on. Smith's not gone too far at the moment because the ball's on the other side of the pitch. But they're pushing on, and then you've seen Mackay's drifted in. Boyce and Devlin are slifting into the hole, and United's they're playing between the lines.
There's certainly a lot of fluidity about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got so many options as Charlie just breaks up play.
Yeah, lost out, and Mulgrew breaks forward. It's Middleton advancing to the edge of the penalty area. Not a great ball in, it has to be said. He didn't have too many options. Tony Watt was his target, comes off a Hearts heel and out for a throw on the far side, but perhaps Middleton could have delivered a better ball in the first instance. It's going to be Behic to take the throw in 14 minutes played. Hearts with a 1-goal advantage. The goal coming after just a minute of play, less than a minute in fact, as Lawrence Shankland notched against his former side. Here's Liam Smith back in the halfway line for United. Cujo plays a short ball back to Smith, quickly closed down. Looks an exciting talent, but he's not had a chance this afternoon so far to showcase it, as Birighitti launches it down the left-hand side looking for Middleton. He does collect, but knocks the ball straight out of play. It's disappointing from United, and they trail by a goal to nil, almost quarter of an hour on the clock.
I think United have, Lee, you've got a better view from that side of it. I think United have tweaked it. It looks like they've gone 4-3-3 and asked Cujo to track Cochrane here, because that's, they say, that when playing that narrow to begin with, nobody was tracking the two Hearts fullbacks, which allowed Forrest and Mackay to drift inside.
Yeah, Behic he's picking up really good areas wide in the left. He's just not been found. I think, Alistair, you commented there on how good a run he made. Charlie just McGrew never found him on the big switch, but I think that's a tactic they'll need to start trying to use.
Bit of slackness there from Rowles, and then he was adjudged to have fouled Ian Harkes, who had given the ball away too, and it'll be a free kick for Dundee United. Tony Watt has obviously said something that Colin Stephen didn't like, and he'll have a word with the United striker. It will be a free kick, just about 10 yards or so inside the Hearts half, but a chance for United to throw a few players forwards. Charlie Mulgrew has come back to take the free kick. It's right of centre, and Hearts holding a high line about 25 yards from their own goal. Harkes also over the free kick, so an option of the left or right footer. Harkes leaves it though, and it will be Mulgrew to clip it in far post. It's a decent delivery. It was Graham who rose, but headed it back the way, and then Middleton fouled Forrest, and any pressure that there might have been in the Hearts back line is immediately relieved. 16 minutes played, Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
Mulgrew's better than that. He's got to put, these opportunities won't come that often for Dundee United, so they have to put a better ball in than that and get first contact.
I think it's difficult as well, because I'm looking at both teams here, and they're not the biggest side.
No, they're not.
Look about it, you've got Hearts have got 3 big lads, and United have got 3 big lads. The rest are quite not the Jolly Green Giants sitting here, but the rest of us are average height.
Yes.
Although I would pick up Cujo at corners, I'd be quite happy.
You still managed to sniff out a goal, put it that way.
Throw into Hearts down near the corner flag. Michael Smith to take. 17 minutes on the clock at Tynecastle on the home side lead. Michael Smith down the line it goes, over Boyce. Mulgrew heads it back the way, Devlin, and then Mulgrew exchange headers, and then it's nodded back to Craig Gordon, who just manages to keep it in play. And that's pretty much as hard as he's had to work in the afternoon so far, as George Grant picks up and rolls out to Mackay on the left-hand side, right in the touchline. Cochrane leaves it. I don't think Boyce was expecting that. He did well to hold on to possession, finds Grant. Grant's pass is just beyond Devlin, but Shankland's there to pick it up 25 yards from goal, spins, finds Boyce. Devlin again, he's lost out, and then Mulgrew finds Watt with the forward pass, and now Harkes out to Cujo, and a chance for him perhaps to try and take on Mackay, who's back doing some defensive duties right now. Down the right-hand side comes Cujo in on his left foot, but he's blocked by Mackay. Good bit of defending in the end from the winger. And then Shankland produces a brilliant bit of control, pulls the ball out of the air, earning the applause from the home fans, and then finds Devlin in field. He's fouled by Cujo, and the home fans show their appreciation. Brilliant bit of play by Shankland.
It's great striker play. Great striker play. What a first touch by Shankland. Holds off a defender, passes it inside. Job done. Really, really good play.
Michael Smith has it. Now Halkett out to the left-hand side for Cochrane. Devlin back making his first start of the season. Came on in the first 2 games as a sub in for Haring this afternoon in the middle of the park, as the ball's arrowed out towards Cochrane on the left-hand side. Smith watches as the ball's lobbed over him, and then Cujo takes down Mackay right on the edge of the penalty area, and it will be just a free kick but well, it's only a foot or so out of the left-hand side of the penalty area, and Cujo earns a yellow card.
I'm not so sure it's a yellow card.
I think he's unlucky there.
They both just went for the ball. It's a foul, don't get me wrong.
There's a tangle of legs. I think he's unlucky. He gets wrong side of Mackay just looks as if he's strolling. He really does. He's so composed in the ball. He knows what he's going to do before he got the ball as well. It's really good to see.
There's another part, Alan and Lee, what happened the other night with AZ is that you noticed there that Barry Mackay became the wider one. Cochrane was inside him. He was underlapping him and got the original pass, and he inflicted it into Barry, who'd spun round him. And that's where Hearts have been very, very clever. They've obviously, Jack will say he's not analysed the game. Robbie will have analysed it and see all the goals and all the chances that AZ caused by playing people in between the lines and the switching of the full-backs and the wingers.
Yep, they've dominated play so far, and they've got a free kick on the left-hand side. It's Grant, curls it in goalwards. Birighitti has to punch it high in the air, and it's away by Behic out to the left-hand side. He'll try and keep that from going from a corner, and he's just managed to do that out for a throw-in instead on the right-hand side for Hearts. Quickly taken. Here's Forrest into the feet of Boyce on the right-hand side of the penalty area, looking for options, clips it to the back post. Not his best delivery, and Cochrane reaches the arm in appreciation of the intent, but he was never going to get on the end of it, and it is a goal kick. And 20 minutes in, Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, there's not a flurry like you said, John. I don't think they've put Dundee United under too much pressure after the early start and getting that goal so early. It's kind of just fizzled out a little bit, and I think they need to lift their intensity levels.
It's just what I'm saying is, you get that early goal, you'd expect Hearts to go for the kill, go for the throat, and really, get at them and close the game down, make it high intensity, put them under pressure, test the fragility of United, because there's no doubt when Hearts get the last third, United look nervous. But if you're Jack Ross now, you must be, although you're a goal down, you'll be thinking, well, we've survived it. We're slowly coming back into the game, and our shape settled down a little bit, and that what looked like the dream start for Hearts, as you say, is just kind of fizzled out in the moment.
Still on top though, and clearly with that one goal advantage. And they have the ball just now through Rowles, just leaves it to Grant. He's out to the left-hand side for Cochrane, quickly closed down by Cujo. Grant steps over the ball and allows Rowles to collect. Here's Smith, square again for the Australian Rowles. Tries to play the straight ball through, looking for Grant again, but Mulgrew had read that. Hearts have nicked it back. Those Mackay, 30 yards from goal, just outside the penalty area to Boyce. Boyce clips that in, looking for Shanklin, and just squirms into the possession instead of Birighitti, who was alive to the danger. I think to get a slight deflection as Boyce tried to play it through, but again it was intelligent play from Boyce to try and link with Shanklin.
I think he actually kicked it off his own foot. It's the best trick shot cross I've ever seen, and Shanklin obviously had been at the right place at the right time, nearly gets on the end of it. But again, it's good play, it's good kind of feeding the ball through lines. But I think even from watching the game the other night with Dundee United, see the balls that do get thread through, see if they don't make it, the other teams seem to be getting on the front foot, whether it's defenders not coming close with the strikers, or I think it was a goal that came the other night against AZ and it got thread through it, and I think it was Dylan Levitt got a wee nick on it, but it still falls to the other team. And I think Dundee United need to be on the front foot when that happens.
Edwards knocks it forward long, looking for Watt. It does win the header over Rowles. Devlin's there to mop up. Hits the deck, but play continues with Grant in possession. McGrath steps in, slides in to cut out the forward pass, and here he is in possession once more. Jamie McGrath, now Smith. Graham closed down quickly by Boyce, and Shanklin's doing likewise to Edwards, but he gets the pass off to McGrath, who has to go back to his goalkeeper. And again, the home fans applaud because the pressing is good, not allowing United to settle in possession. Rowles wins the header above Watt, and Hearts have it back. Just beyond the midway point in the first period, Lawrence Shanklin with a very early goal separates the sides. Mackay and Devlin exchange passes in the middle of the park. Mackay over the top looking for the run of Boyd, but it'll run through to Birighitti, who was tracked there by Graham, just shepherding that back to his goalkeeper in any case. But Mackay doesn't even need to look sometimes before he plays that kind of pass over the top, as he did for Shanklin last weekend. United build down the left-hand side now. It's Middleton. Away from one Hearts player, holds on to possession. It's McGrath on the left-hand side, up against Smith. It's taken him down. Looked to be a foul, but Colin Stephen keeps his whistle silent, and Hearts come away, but they've lost possession to Harks. I think United should have had a free kick there. There wasn't too many protests, it has to be said. And play continues with United in possession. McGrath back to Graham once more, and then McGrath for Harks. Centre circle to the right-hand side. It's Liam Smith. United looking for an equaliser, looking to test Craig Gordon. They haven't been able to do that so far in this game. Cujo has got away from Cochrane down the right-hand side as United come forward. Just nudges it back to Liam Smith. Now it's Charlie Mulgrew in the middle of the Hearts half. Square for Graham out to the left-hand side for Behic, who's come back from a more advanced area. Graham once more down the left for Middleton, looking to hold on to under pressure from Smith. Gets it back to Graham once more. Forward it goes, but the offside flag is up to bring that particular United move to an end. Well, some decent possession from United, but ultimately not threatening Hearts.
Yeah, that's the difference now, is that every time Hearts come over the halfway line, they look dangerous. They look as if something's going to happen. Now, it's down to two things, I reckon, at the most. Down to Hearts' confidence and down to United's lack of confidence in that last third. But they have, you're right, Al, they've started to knock the ball about, they've started to get their foot in it, but they're just carrying no threat whatsoever.
Yeah, it was a good passage of play, good possession, but I feel sorry for Tony Watt. He's isolated up there. He's not the same player as Fletcher. Fletcher holds the ball in, he's strong, he knows how to buy fouls. But he's just starved the service just now. They can't get up in support of him, and not enough runners round about him.
Here's Ian Harks in the halfway line. Watts drifted out to the right-hand side. Goes in with the 50-50. Looks a good solid challenge on Devlin there, who does go down, but quickly back to his feet when he realised he wasn't going to get the free kick. Correct decision, I think, from the referee, as Harks picks up and plays it out to the right-hand side. He's looking for Cujo again. There's too much in the pass. Harmlessly behind for a goal kick. 26 minutes played. Hearts 1, Dundee United 0. Robbie Neilson, Lee, you would imagine, will clearly be pleased that the start his side have made, but as John's saying, perhaps haven't gone for the jugular as they might have done.
Yeah, he'll want to be greedy. Robbie, knowing him the way I know him, he wants more goals. They've not created too much in front of goals, but they've got great play, some great runs, but you want to go 2, 3, 4, put it to bed early bells, and knowing that Dundee United are fragile, going 1-0 up early bells, you've got to pile on the pressure. Dundee United have had a decent little spell there. Harks is starting to find those wee pockets, and he's been found by threaded balls through, but it's just that quality in the final third. They're not quite getting that pinpoint accuracy with their balls in the final third. Yeah, middle to front, but front in the final third, they're just not getting those balls. Whether they're getting the runs or not, here's a run by Watt now, but
yeah, nods it down into the path of Cujo. That's better link-up play, and it's out from McGrath to Middleton on the left-hand side, across the 6-yard box and turned behind by Halkett, and it's a corner kick to Dundee United. Unfortunately for Hearts, there was no United player predator enough to be inside that 6-yard box, so they would have had a tap in.
That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, you're mentioning it, commentary, and Lee's mentioned it as well, that United are sneaking back into this game. In terms of possession, for the last 10 minutes they've probably had more possession. They've not had a threat. There was the threat. Middleton got there, but only Tony Wotton really in the vicinity. Cujo's got to be in the back post there. But this is why Hearts need to keep the intensity up. Middleton corner, right-hand side, easily knocked away by Rowles. And United will try and retrieve it. McGrath's done well. Oh, he's done really well to get away from Shankland as well, up to the edge of the penalty area. He's got Middleton in support, right-hand side. Cross goal it comes. Halkett again in the right place at the right time to knock it clear. But certainly, Lee, a better spell for United this.
Really good spell from United. They're putting Hearts in the back foot. And I tell you what, the clearance from Craig Halkett, the first one, is a very hard thing to do, because if that comes off your boot any other way, it's in the back of your net. And then he's cleared one there. He's been in the right place at the right time, but it's much better spell from Dundee United.
Here they are again. Graham back just outside the centre circle. There's a short ball to Mulgrew. Mulgrew's quickly under pressure though from Grant. He does manage to poke the ball back to Edwards. Edwards will have to go back to his keeper though to keep possession, and it's good pressing from George Grant in the middle of the park. One of Hearts' summer signings coming in from Peterborough, and looks the part certainly. as United pick up through Mulgrew. Mulgrew plays it square to Graham, just dropping back into defence again. Mulgrew momentarily. Smith plays it down the right hand side for Forrest. He can't hold on to possession, and United have it. It's Mulgrew back to Graham, square for his captain Ryan Edwards, and forward it goes. Cujo can't latch onto it, but Harkes might do, and he's onside, the right hand side of the penalty area. Not a bad ball into the box. Middleton can't make a good connection. Smith half gets it clear. Boyce helps it on. Shankland can't gather. Mulgrew gets it back, and Hearts fans round about is just a little bit more edgy than they've been at any other time in this game, John Robertson.
And they should be. United are now in the ascendancy, there's no doubt about that. They're knocking it about well, their confidence is coming back. That was a half chance there. Middleton just didn't quite connect. It was a bit of a swing, and he just clipped the ball no more. But United are, you know, the last 10 minutes possession has been excellent, and you're just, I don't know what you're thinking, Lee. Is this Robbie looking towards Thursday? Everybody seems to be dropping deep off the ball and allowing United to come forward. Is this part of the reason?
I don't know if it's Robbie. I think it might be the players. It might be the players, because I know for a fact if you're a manager down there, you'll want to get your team on the front foot, playing good football, going in that way. They're defending here, and I think it comes from they're getting Harkes further up the pitch, and he's starting to get beyond Tony Watt, and it's creating chances, and Hearts are finding it difficult.
Cujo, 25 yards, didn't get a hold of the shots, blocked at the edge of the box, but again the opening was there, and you might hear a bit of disgruntlement almost in the Tynecastle stands, which certainly wasn't in evidence in the opening 20 minutes when Hearts were dominant. Here's Edwards, lines up a shot from distance, good save. Craig Gordon had to be, actually, I mean that's fully 40 yards almost that Ryan Edwards took that one on, but he was invited to shoot and he took the invitation, and Craig Gordon went down to his left to save, but forward come Hearts all of a sudden. Mackay slips it in, Devlin with the chance, out comes Birighitti, good save, smothers it at the feet of the Australian. It's end-to-end stuff almost at Tynecastle just at the moment, but 31 played, it remains Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
And the game sparks back into life with a strike. He was invited to hit that there, and he thought about it a couple of times, and he eventually took the shot on. It's a great save by Craig Gordon, but there was nobody falling in, no striker falling in.
And then you get the complete they go right down the park, Hearts, and I thought he took the wrong option. I thought Boyce was going to be rolled in.
Yep.
He tried a little clever pass.
Yeah, he tried to be reverse one, didn't he?
Ricocheted off Devlin's shins and into the keeper's arms there. But to say that Ryan Edwards, Hearts just backed off with. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was him, but the game, the 5-2 game last year, I'm sure, I don't know if it was it, but somebody done similar, strode forward and absolutely rattled one in from about 30 odd yards.
Yeah, Edwards did score in that game.
I think it was. I think it was similar. I think Edwards was, again, Lee, you're right, he was invited forward,
and he actually thought about it a couple of times, and then he still had enough time to get his shot away, which from a Hearts point of view it's disappointing, because what they've done in the game so far, they've closed down these areas. When Dundee United players have been getting on the ball, they've closed them down, they've not gave them that option to look forward, but the last 5-10 minutes they've kind of sat off that a little bit.
This drinks break might actually help Hearts, might help Robbie Nielsen get some information to them, because they've definitely dropped off the game. They've allowed United easy possession, and whilst United weren't really threatening, it allowed United to gain some confidence, play their way back in the game, settle themselves down, and that's exactly what they've done, and they're now starting to look a bit more of a threat. There's no doubt Hearts still look the more likely to score in the last third, but United are well back into this game, and they are starting to carry a threat going forward.
Yeah, that drinks break is now over. Birighitti was just needing a quick bit of treatment as well. But play resumes with Dundee United trailing by a 1-0, but in possession midway inside their own half, and it's Ryan Edwards who has come closest to scoring for them, certainly just a couple of minutes ago with that long range drive that certainly troubled Craig Gordon, but on this occasion the Scotland keeper was equal to it as the ball's fed forward, and it'll be comfortable for Gordon to come out and gather just on the right hand side of his penalty area. Rolls it to Devlin, who knocks it back to Halkett and square for Rowles, who recently made his Australian international debut, one of many Australians of late who have made their way into the Scottish game. A couple of his teammates, Atkinson and Devlin, among them. Ball's knocked out on the far side. It'll be a Hearts throw-in. 12 minutes until the interval. Lawrence Shankland's goal, which came after I think 42 seconds, still separating the sides, and Hearts just didn't take that opportunity you felt they could have done to really be ruthless and go and capitalise on a real vulnerability about Dundee United at that stage. And United have grown into the game, especially in the last 10 minutes or so, and very much in the contest. Hearts build down the left-hand side as Mackay coming back into his own half to Rowles. Plays it square for Halkett. Back again to Rowles it goes with Watt closing down. Rowles up to the halfway line, left-footed out to the far side. It's a great run by Michael Smith on the overlap, cuts it back now for Forrest. Right-hand side of the penalty area, trying to get onto the left foot to get the shot away. He was watched all the way there by Behic. It's good defending. Back with Devlin it goes, and then out to the right-hand side again for Smith. Devlin once more, about 35 yards from goal. Gets it back from Grant, then knocks the ball into the penalty area, away by Graham up to the halfway line. And then a clash off the ball there between Watt and Halkett. Nothing doing, says the referee, and Hearts continue with possession. It's Michael Smith again in an advanced area. Onto the edge of the penalty area it goes. Harks knocks it away. Middleton back to Behic, and the left back clears up only as far though as Devlin. And Hearts come again. It's Grant from the right hand side. Devlin once more will pick up, then flights it out to the left for Mackay. Mackay brings it down, and then Smith will try and live with him, but Mackay trying to get away into the middle of the park. He goes, runs into Charlie Mulgrew though, and Smith gets it back to Mulgrew. Out to the left hand side he plays it. Middleton back with Behic. He goes all the way back to another Australian, Mark Birighitti, who had a very uncomfortable night, you'd have to say, in Alkmaar. Culpable, at least in part, for 3 or 4 of the goals, I felt, but certainly not helped by his teammates. Throw into Hearts on the near side, their left-hand side, to be taken by Alec Cochrane, midway inside his own half. His loan from Brighton, made permanent in the summer, looked a good bit of business as well from Hearts. Cochrane gets it to Halkett. 9 minutes left of the first period. I think you're right, John, about that water break helping Hearts, because United haven't had that same impetus that they had in the minutes preceding it.
I think Robbie just tweaked it, because if you look across the pitch just now, the width that Hearts have got is incredible. On the near side here, if Cochrane's on the touchline, then Mackay's on the touchline. You look over the far side, we saw a few minutes ago Michael Smith getting in for Rowles' diagonal ball because Forrest is dragging him in, or Forrest is staying out, and the fullbacks are quite happy to underlap. They'll just go into the space there, and it's pulling United about the place. And I think Robbie's just reinforced what he wants from his players to get back into the game, because there's no doubt preceding that United had a very, very good 10-15 minutes where they looked very, very comfortable in possession. They've just not tested the Craig Gordon, apart from the long range shot from Edwards, as much as they'd like.
It was surprising in that spell, actually. Michael Smith, I think, has got really, really good quality. He got in 2 great areas, 2 separate occasions, and his delivery wasn't the best. I think he took the wrong option. He cut it back instead of just drilling it across, because drilling it across the goal, you know for a fact Shankland's going to be there and he'll tap it in. He's got really good movement, he knows where to be, he's a predator in the box, and he just chose the wrong option.
That's a good pick out from Grant for Boyce, but for once his first touch lets him down, and United able to pick up possession, and McGrath feeds it forward, but Middleton won't get onto that as Craig Gordon comes out to the edge of his penalty area and collects, and then immediately plays it out to Rowles. Up to the halfway line it goes. And Forrest over on the left hand side momentarily and knocks it straight out of play. So it will be a Dundee United throw in, about 20 yards inside the Hearts half. Plays it to Ian Harks, back to Smith, and now back with Edwards, who's come as close as anyone to an equaliser, testing Craig Gordon from at least 35 yards, I reckon, but it was a good save. There has to be some strike to beat Craig Gordon from that distance, as Middleton picks up on the left. Now it's Behic on the overlap, can't get it away or beyond Liam Boyce, out for a throw-in over on the far side, just a couple of yards away from the corner flag on the United left. There's the attack, and as Behic prepares to take the throw-in, back the way it goes. And it's Graham for Edwards. Might be invited to shoot again. He does, but he's well wide of target this time. Well, that was even more adventurous. That was further out, more players in his way, and I think the next time will be a better option, and it will be a goal kick to Hearts. 1-0 they lead. We've got just over 6 minutes of the first half left. 5-0 Celtic earlier in the day down at Rugby Park. Really emphatic win for the champions. 5 different goal scorers as they move on to maximum 9 points alongside Rangers, that are ahead of them on goal difference. Hearts, as things stand, will move up to 7. But a long way to go in this one. Out to the right for Mackay, who's taken up a position on the opposite wing. That's Boyce lost out again, and the grumbles come from the stand to let him know about it. Forrest and Shanklin trying to link, and Shanklin is penalised for the challenge on Cujo. Free kick to Dundee United just outside their own penalty area, and it remains Hearts 1, Dundee United 0. Lee, is there a way back into the game before United, do you think, before the interval? They'd be obviously love an equaliser before then.
I definitely think so. I think the pattern of play going back a few minutes, the into midfielder, the width that Middleton's given, and he's getting Behic up alongside him, and made it 2v1, and they created an opportunity, they created an overload on the far left, and I think that's what they're going to need to do. They're going to need to stretch Hearts and to create these spaces in between the centre halves and the full-backs, and then if they do get that overlap or underlap, they will create chances.
There's a chance. Liam Smith inside the penalty area, plays it in, but away by Rowles after Watt had shown some good play to find Smith in the first instance. But Hearts defending well inside their own penalty area.
I think you've got to credit Jack Ross, because I think he's definitely came out with a diamond with Middleton and Watt through the middle, and he realised right away it wasn't working. He needed wide men to go and track Hearts fullbacks, and he's put Cujo wide on the right, and he's put Middle wide on the left, and they're causing all more problems.
Yeah, here's Smith on the right hand side into the penalty area, and Watt just can't turn it in. It's behind for a goal kick. Big Gordon couldn't collect the cross, and Watt got something on it, but not enough to direct it on goal, and it remains Hearts 1, Dundee United 0. Big chance though.
Again, they're working. Dundee United are working the ball into good areas, but they've just, up until then, that was a decent enough ball by Smith there, but up until then they've not been getting that final ball, that final cross, that final threaded ball into the box. And then they are actually working the ball into good areas though. They just need to work in that final piece of the jigsaw, as they say.
Forward come Hearts on the right hand side, but certainly the euphoria that was around the Tynecastle stands in the opening 20 minutes has certainly died down, as their side have failed to capitalise on that early goal and have been tested in the 15 minutes prior to now. But here's Mackay, he's given it away now, most unlike him. United can't break though. Tony Watt couldn't latch on to the forward ball, and Hearts will come again, and this time Mackay finds Smith in the right touchline. Back to Mackay, forward now for Forrest, 25 yards from goal. Mackay once more picks up Boyce, back to Forrest, and there's a toe coming in there from Jamie McGrath, knocks it back to his goalkeeper. Good bit of defending there by Jamie McGrath as Hearts tried the intricate build-up, which didn't quite come off. 1-0.
I think you look at the last 15 minutes, that the probably most important player on the pitch has been Craig Halkett. He's had 2 clearances along the 6-yard line. He's had to make there. He had to stop Tony Watt going through there again, and that shows you how the tide has turned in this match, because there's no doubt that Hearts were well on top the first 20 minutes. They should have gone for the juggler, couldn't get going. United have played themselves back in the game, and Craig Halkett's had to be on his toes, because, as I said, United are now starting to test Hearts, and they're right back in the game, and it's been down to Jack Ross tweaking his system from a diamond in the middle of the park to a 4-3-3, and United have really improved from that opening spell.
Just a couple of minutes left of the first half. Hearts have a goal advantage. Barry Mackay forwards for Shankland, back to Mackay again, midway inside the United half. Forward pass for Boyce wasn't accurate enough, and easily gathered by Birigiti, who had one more save to make after conceding that early one, and Barry Mackay was denied on that occasion. But since then, Hearts haven't really caused too many problems for the Australian keeper, as Devlin finds Grant in the middle of the park. Out to the right hand side for Barry Mackay, flicked on just outside the penalty there by the head of Forrest, but no teammate there can latch onto it, and it's come out to the near side for a throw into Dundee United, just pretty much in line with their own penalty area. Liam Smith to take this one. Last season was the first time since 2016 these sides were in the same league, incredibly. Both having spent time down in the Championship of late. As Ian Harkes hits the deck and gets nothing but his trouble. Forward come Harkes, it's Devlin. Boyce was waiting on it, Liam Smith wasn't, and the home fans aren't happy with some of what they've seen in the last quarter of an hour or so. Here's Middleton on the left. United looking for a leveller just before the interval, which would be very timely. A minute of added on time to be played at the end of this first half as McGrath just runs it out of play down near the corner flag. So we've got 90 seconds left of the first half, and Leeds United, as John's been mentioning, will certainly be pleased by the way they have dug their way back into the game despite not having been able to find the equaliser.
They're finishing the half really strong, stronger than Hearts. I think there's been a lot of sloppy touches from Boyce, from Forrest. Their link-up play's been sloppy at times. Started off on fire, so a good few kind of neat, nice touches round about the box, but I think they're trying to play it too tight in the middle. They're not getting that width again, and their interchanging's a bit slower now. So at Dundee United are able to kind of track runners and pass on men, whereas at the start, the first 10 minutes, they were like the red arrows all over the place, and you couldn't pick up one player. Whereas now they've kind of slowed things down.
Apologies, incidentally, I understand their microphones might have picked up a bit of bad language, so apologies for any offence caused.
As long as that wasn't me, was it?
I think it was Brian McLaughlin. The pie delivery at half-time was late. Over on the far side, it was a throw-in to Dundee United. 1-0 they trail as the half-time whistle beckons. But certainly it's been an improvement from United from a horrendous opening when they lost the goal inside the first minute. You really feared for the way the game might go at that stage, John, of course, unless you're a Hearts fan. As the half-time whistle goes, we'll get your thoughts on that. Richards will get yourself and Lee to analyse the first period, which did look like it was going to go all Hearts' way in that opening minute, especially when Devlin found Shankland inside the 6-yard box and he tucked past Birighitti for a first-minute opener for the home side. And Barry Mackay was denied shortly afterwards, and Birighitti had another save inside his own 6-yard box as Hearts pressed for a second, but it didn't come. And perhaps they didn't go for it quite as vehemently as you would expect, and United edged their way back in, almost found an equaliser themselves from Ryan Edwards' shot from distance just after the half-hour mark. Good save from Craig Gordon, and then immediately down the other end, Cam Devlin had an effort smothered by Birighitti to deny Hearts a second goal. What was just off target shortly before the half-time whistle, with another decent opening for United, who have certainly improved as the half went on. But at half-time at Tynecastle, it's Hearts 1, Dundee United 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
There's no substitute. Previously on Breaking the News at the Edinburgh Festivals.
So how important are exam results then?
I mean, there's only 3 things that really determine life success. Looking cool in a leather jacket. Being able to say, what's that?
I don't know what Fonz world you're living in, but...
Just remember, there'll always be a job for you. For the last 20 years, they've been banging on, robots are going to take our jobs. The robots are coming. Are they, Des? May I remind everybody in this room that the robots cannot spot a lamppost in 9 pictures.
Breaking the News at the Edinburgh Festivals.
Listen now on the BBC Sounds app and catch the next programme Friday from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Time with me, Richard Gordon, this Sunday afternoon. A busy afternoon in the SWPL. In one, there's been a 4-0 win for Dundee United against Glasgow women. Cassie Cowper, Tammy Harkin, McLaren and Todd all on target in that one. Hibernian have beaten Hamilton by 4-0. Ailey Adams rounding it off. A hat-trick for the American Crystal Thomas. It was Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 2. Lucy Ashworth-Clifford got the first goal there. Then there was a penalty later on from Chloe Craig. It was 2-1 for Spartans women against Hearts. Hearts had gone in front through Amy Anderson on the hour mark, but Spartans quickly turned it round. Rebecca Galbraith got them in level terms, and there was an own goal by Rhea McCafferty that won it for Spartans. 4 o'clock kickoffs. Motherwell against Glasgow City and Aberdeen against Rangers. That one being streamed live at the BBC Sports Scotland website. In England, almost done. A remarkable game, actually. Nottingham Forest 1-0 up against West Ham United. West Ham with reason to feel that VAR had it in for them this afternoon. They're trailing to a Taiwo Awoniyi goal. Just before then, they scored. It was ruled out through VAR. And it's one, have a look at the highlights yourself later on, folks. It's one of those, I could see the argument both ways, I guess, as to whether Michael Antonio committed a foul or not. Anyway, the referee decided he had no goal. Then there was an effort on goal which Scott McKenna dived to clearly knock away with his arm. The referee agreed, awarded a penalty, but didn't send Scott McKenna off. He gave him the yellow cards. The goalkeeper was in behind him, so it may just simply be that the referee felt that the goalkeeper would have saved it in any case. Penalty was awarded. Scott McKenna stayed in the park, and Declan Rice had his penalty saved. So it's 1-0 for Forest. The 4:30 kickoff is Chelsea against Spurs. Earlier this afternoon, live here on Sports Sound, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5, Kyogo, Jota, Moritz Jens, Starfelt coming on to sub to score. First for the club. And Georges Giacomakis, both Jens and Giacomakis with overhead kicks. A 5-0 romp for Celtic at Rugby Park. They join Rangers on 9 points. Celtic go top of the table on goal difference. Hearts against Dundee United. Well, off the back of a 7-0 humbling in midweek, you lose a goal 42 seconds into the game, and you really must fear the worst. But got to give Lee Miller, Dundee United, a lot of credit, haven't you, for the way that they've come back in this one?
Yeah, 100%. Like you say, they scored within the first couple of minutes, and you're thinking it's going to be a really, really long half. But they've grown into it. You've seen early bells, you've seen they were very fragile. Every ball that came into the box, the goalkeeper was flapping at it. Everyone was kind of stood still, froze. Hearts were more lively onto the ball. But then after that, they never really put Dundee United under pressure as they should have on the front foot, chasing things down. They allowed Dundee United to kind of come back into the game. And I think Dundee United, if they were more clinical in the final third with the through balls, the crosses into the box, they might have created a little bit more opportunities. But they've had a good bit of time on the ball, and I think it kind of gets that out your system from the other night. It gets out. It means you're totally forgotten about it. Whereas the first couple of minutes, you could see it was still in the back of their minds, the players' minds. You could see, oh God, every ball that comes in here, oh no, we're going to get another goal, and then you're going to be floundering, if anything. But the more they've got on the ball, the more obviously John referenced to the tweak of the shape. It's worked so much better for them. There's more support getting up to Tony Watt, who was isolated, and I think they've grown into the game, and they're unfortunate not to create a little bit more opportunities. Obviously the long distance drive from Edwards, it caused a bit of concern for Craig Orme, but he's not had much to do. Apart from that, maybe the cross into the box for Tony Watt, it kind of ricocheted back off him, but he's not had much to do. So in the final third, they need to be a little bit better. They've been better from back to front, but they just need that cutting edge in the final third for me.
Yeah, they haven't been able to produce anything, I suppose, in that respect. Certainly the long-range effort from Ryan Edwards, comfortable enough save, well saved by Craig Gordon. I just wonder if the heat, John, is it just quite as hot in the capital as it seems to be in other parts of the country? Whether that has kind of mitigated against the players at all? Not now. I mean, the Hearts come back in, which is a lot cooler. But no, I think, you know, Jack Ross would have been sitting there thinking, right, let's go out there and show a bit of character, show that you've learned from the other night there, and, you know, show me what you're made of. And within 42 seconds, they're 1-0 down, and you're thinking, oh. And for the next 10 minutes, you know, Hearts are peppering, and they were getting behind them, cutting balls back. There was, you know, the keeper, Birighetti, looked a bit nervous, and
He had to make a couple of good saves, and you're thinking that Hearts fans think, yeah, keep pressing, keep on top, you know, let's keep on top of them and keep getting them by. And then Hearts kind of thought, well, we'll knock it about. It was like, you know, it was showground football. They're knocking about and little flicks and tricks, but United just gradually put a few passes together, then a few more passes together, and then Middleton put in a couple of good crosses. Halkett had to be sharp. He's right, the one's fizzed across the goal, and he's managed to get the side of his left foot and sweep it past. But if that hits his ankle, it could shoot off in any direction whatsoever and end up the back of your net. He's had to clear another one, and he had to stop Watt as he was running through. And United have grown into the game. There's no doubt whatsoever. The tweak from Jack Ross to go from the two through the middle of Middleton and Watt with Cujo in behind to a 4-3-3 has helped them settle in the game. They're now probing at Hearts, they're now getting to good areas. The Edwards shot from 30 odd yards was just that little warning at Hearts that they're not in the game. They've now got the crowd frustrated. The Hearts fans are starting to get on their back, because they'd be thinking the same. Go for the jugular, go and get more goals, go and finish this game off early and give us a nice comfortable afternoon. It's anything but a comfortable afternoon now. Hearts are going to have to start again. They're going to have to build themselves up. They're going to have to get the intensity back, the sharpness back in the last third, because I say, well, the first 15 minutes, Liam Boyce picking up great areas, wonderful little giving goes, little passes with Forrest, Mackay, Smith, Shankland, and then the last 15 minutes, his touches deserted him. The Hearts fans have got onto that, and United are thinking, whoa, wait a minute, you know, things are, you know, they're not quite at it now. So, listen, Jack Ross he'll not be happy they're 1-0 down, but what he'll be happy with, the resolve that they showed after the initial 10 minutes, first 10 minutes, when they looked really, really nervous, really, really fragile. They've battled their way back into this game, and as Lee said, they've finished the half the stronger side, and there's no doubt about it. If they come out and show the same, there could be something there for them.
Kind of feel the need to just step it up, just to be that little bit more clinical, I suppose, in the opposing half, if they're going to cause serious problems for the Hearts defence. John he wondered at one stage, Lee, whether, even thinking about Zurich, whether that's just beginning to kind of creep into the minds of the players. When you are a player, when you're out there, when you know there's a big European tie coming up in a few days' time, during the match, do you allow your mind, can you allow your mind to wander like that?
You shouldn't, but sometimes it does happen. Sometimes your mind wanders, and I think you've seen that a little bit from the likes of Boyce with a few slack touches, where he's normally bang on it. When the ball comes up to him, he makes it sticks, he gets players round about him. He's a good bounce pass. He's not been quite at it after the first 10-15 minutes, and maybe is looking to that game. But I think from a Dundee United point of view, they've grown into the game, and the longer the game went on, you could see it. You could actually see it in the players, the way they were carrying themselves and stuff. They started getting their shoulders back and think, do you know what, we've got nothing to lose here, we might as well just go for this, get on the ball. They're playing with a bit of confidence, and the longer the half went on, the more confident the Dundee United players got. And I think they've got subs they could bring on here as well to change the game. They've got Fletcher, Sibbald, players who are really influential in games, and Fletcher will be, you know yourself, John, Fletcher will be desperate to come onto this game and play against Hearts.
The Zurich thing I was talking about there was more the shape. Right, within Europe, you tend to drop off and let teams have the ball and be really organised and hard to play through. And after the initial 15 minutes, it looked like Hearts had dropped off beyond the halfway line and allowed United two centre backs, Graham and Edwards, they just knocked the ball back and forth to each other. And it looked like, you know, that being nice and tight, nice shape. Don't give anything away. And that's what I was thinking. Is it has Robbie been working a wee bit on the shape that he's going to have on Thursday in Zurich, where they'll be dropping off and being nice and tight and hard to beat through, but implementing it today as part of the defensive aspect. But when Hearts go forward, opening 20-25 minutes, every time they went forward, Richard, they looked like they could create something, and they looked like they had a real edge in the last third. Whereas United started to get back in, and you called it yourself there. They just need to be, from a United perspective, a little bit more confident, a little bit more clinical in the last third, because later, as that half wore on, there is definitely a nervousness in the stands from the Hearts fans every time United went forward. Not so much on the pitch, but certainly in the fans. You think, we've had a great start, the perfect start. We've not capitalised on that, we've not built on it, and United have come back into the game. If you're a United fan right now, the 750 that are packed in there, they would have felt, they'd be thinking, oh no, here we go.
Yep.
But right now, they'll be saying, wait a minute here, we've got a foothold in this game, and there's a real opportunity to us if we can just be that little bit more, have that little bit more quality in the last third. They could get something out, but they'll have to be aware, because you say Hearts on the break a few times in the first half look very, very threatening.
But I think the thing is with Dundee United, John, they're a good side. See the first leg, obviously, against AZ, they were very, very good. Their shape was good, their work rate was excellent, they created a lot of chances, they won the game. So they have to kind of think, get their mentality right first and foremost, and think, do you know what, we can win this game. We're a good side here. When we play, when we're all at it and going forward, and the final ball's into the final third, we can create a chance and maybe get a goal out of this.
Full-time incidentally at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest have got their first win back up in the Premiership, 1-0 against West Ham United earlier today. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5 in the Premiership. Kyogo, Jota, Jens, Starfelt, Giacomakis. Celtic just cruising to victory in that one. Some very well taken goals, some defensive mistakes, and Derek McInnes certainly saying afterwards he was disappointed in the way they had conceded some of the goals, but bigger and more realistic tests, I suppose, lie ahead for Kilmarnock in terms of their ambitions this season. Celtic, well, it'll be about trying to win every single game, I guess, and they're off to a flyer, as Rangers are. So 5-0 it was for Celtic. It's 1-0 for Hearts as we move into the second half. It's live here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. Let's rejoin Lee Miller, John Robertson and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Richard. Hearts trooping back onto the pitch. United already out there waiting on them. I don't think there's going to be any half-time changes. It'll be Hearts to kick us off, going from left to right in this second period as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand. Opposite the main stand here in Gorgie. And Hearts would fancy another early goal in the half, as they did in the first period. Dundee United clearly looking to get back on level terms as quickly as possible. As Colin Stephen, the match referee, just awaits the signal to allow us to get back underway. It'll be Lawrence Shankland, who has scored the only goal of the game, who will kick us off, and we're off and running. And Rolls picks up and moves away from Tony Watt back to Halkett, who had a couple of really important interceptions and clearances in that towards the end of that first period. Lee was saying the first one particularly could have ended up quite comfortably in the back of his net had he not judged it just to perfection to knock it behind. It's going to be a throw into Dundee United over on the far side. Quickly taken by Smith, who knocks it forward onto the head of Halkett, picked up by Shankland, and then Mackay clips it up away by Graham. Mulgrew nods it down, but Cochrane finds Mackay. Oh, the flag's gone up belatedly, and it was against George Grant in the end, who must have been quite a tight one, I would imagine, but the assistant a far better vantage point than us to decide, and awards the free kick to Dundee United just inside their own penalty area. A minute played of the second period. Hearts 1, Dundee United 0. Colin Stephen, the referee, is making Mark Birighitti take the free kick from the correct position. Stickler for accuracy there, as the Australian keeper knocks it long. Headed down by Halkett, but returned, and then Watt gets the flick on, and then Halkett again. He really has become a very accomplished defender, Craig Halkett. I mean, I know he already was a good player when he came from Livingston to Hearts, John, but I mean, he really in the last couple of seasons has improved vastly.
Yeah, he's been Hearts standout defender, and that's saying something when obviously John Shooter's gone to Rangers now, but Halkett has been an absolute rock solid. He's brought a real high level of consistency, a real high level of composure, and he's had to be on his toes. There's no doubt about it. He's had to be on his toes in this game so far as United have come back into it.
Boyce trying to hammer the ball into the penalty area. It's blocked though and knocked away before the throw in. Yeah, Halkett did manage to get his way into a Scotland squad. He was back in March for some friendlies, didn't play, but his form has certainly been good enough to have him in the reckoning.
Yeah, in terms of
here's Mackay going for goal! What a strike! Well, Lee Miller, I'm sure you won't mind me interrupting you for that, because that was an absolute belter from Barry Mackay. Picking up on the left-hand side, in on his right foot, easily 25 yards, maybe more from goal. Arrowing it into the far bottom corner of Birigiti. Hearts do have an early goal in the second half, and it's Hearts 2, Dundee United 0.
I'll get back to that point about Halkett in a couple of minutes. What a strike. What an unbelievable strike. And he's got that in his locker, Mackay. He just steps inside. Not a lot of run onto the ball. He very much stood still and no backlift from the ball at all, and lasers it into the bottom corner of the goal. Goalie's got no chance. 2-0 Hearts.
That's just what Lee's saying there. Normally when a player cuts in there, you're looking up to put a bend on the ball. You're looking up to curl it with pace on the far post. Start outside the post and curl it in. The purity of that strike from Barry Mackay, Lee's called it, it was like a laser. He just put his foot right through it and it absolutely whistled past Birigati there. He had absolutely no chance to keep it with that. And it's exactly what the home fans wanted, to settle them down after that strong finish from United in the first half.
He's already equalled his goal tally for last season, a couple in his opening 3 games. His goal here against Ross County was another thing of beauty, a very different goal. Here's a chance at the other end. Hearts, good challenge by Rowles, and it had to be. Hearts looked like he'd got a bit of freedom inside the penalty area, but the Australian stuck out a leg and made a really good challenge, and it remains Hearts 2, Dundee United 0.
It's a brilliant run from Hearts there, because Watt has dragged Halkett away and Hearts has got on the blind side of Rowles. It's a great first touch, and it is here. You look up last ditch in the dictionary, that's tackle. It there. It's incredible tackle.
It's great play from Hearts because he recognises the space created from Watt coming out there. But just on the back of that, I was obviously talking about Halkett. See when Rowles makes that tackle, Halkett gives him a proper fist pump. And I know Halkett from obviously being at Livingston, he is a winner. He wants to win everything, whether it's small-sided games, in training, when it's a game of darts, pool, anything. He wants to win constantly. You can see the joy in his face and the aggression, and the fact that he made that last-ditch tackle and helped Halkett out there.
There's a free kick to Dundee United. Glenn Middleton slowly getting back to his feet after a couple of challenges on him. It's just outside the centre circle in the Hearts half. Charlie Mulgrew will take this. So United need a goal, and quickly, if they're to get anything from this game. Failed to beat Hearts at all last season.
I tell you what, Charlie's looking at Craig Gordon's position there. He's looked at it 3 or 4 times. I don't think for one moment he's going to try it, but he checked him out 2 or 3 times, I'm telling you.
Into the penalty it comes out to Cujo, well blocked by Rowles, hands at the side to make sure there's no handballs, but it's another good block. Hearts are defending well when they're having to.
Looks like Jack Ross is going to make a couple of substitutions. Fletcher and Sibbald look as if they're about to come on.
We'll get confirmation of who's going to come off shortly. Brian's across there keeping an eye on things as play continues with United in possession. Clipped out to the right hand side for Smith, but it's Rowles again, who looks like he's enjoying himself doing that defending. Brian McLaughlin over on the far side, can you bring us up to date with these changes?
Yeah, the first player coming off is Charlie Mulgrew. Obviously he didn't start last weekend's Premiership match. He played in midweek. He's coming off, and the other player coming off is Matthew Cujo. Coming on, Stephen Fletcher and Craig Sibbald.
The United fans are not happy with Cujo going off, that's for sure. They just don't understand that one at all. Obviously Jack will have his reasons. He showed flashes, Cujo, you know, but I think he's a fan's favourite. So obviously United fans not happy with that. It'll be interesting to see. You know, they're going to have to change the shape. Fletcher going straight up front with Tony Watt.
Yeah, if they go 2 up top.
In comes the throw in from the right hand side as Hearts have to do another bit of defending. Out off his line comes Craig Gordon though to grab that one. Yeah, I wonder if Tony Watt will just drift out to the left. Middleton across to the right hand side, and Sibbald will just come into the middle of the park where Charlie Mulgrew is operating. That's certainly a different animal in Stephen Fletcher that Hearts are going to have to cope with. Here's Devlin out to the near side the Hearts right to Forrest. And now Smith back to Halkett, midway inside his own half. Plays it to the left. Rose has to chase that. Middleton slides in. And it will be a Hearts throw in the end.
I'm just laughing. The boy Rose looks like he likes a scrap. You know, that's the Aussie mentality. He looks like he really enjoys contact. He really enjoys the physicality of the Scottish game, and he's certainly becoming a fan's favourite with his full-blooded tackling.
Yeah, I've liked the two as a partnership actually, Halkett and Rose. I think it's a different animal. Obviously, Fletcher coming on, he gives that physical challenging up there as well, and Halkett will not shy away from that either.
Here's Tony Watt on the left-hand side. Oh, it's a good ball for Hearts into the penalty area, just runs into trouble though, and then there's another 50-50 in the air between McGrath and Devlin, and the yellow card is going to come out for Jamie McGrath. And Devlin, I've noticed this a couple of times, John. I'm not sure how much of a foul there was in there. It looked like a 50-50 to me. Devlin a couple of times has gone down holding his ankle, almost as if to, I'm not saying con the referee, but certainly to colour his decision.
I don't think that's a yellow card. You got two boys fully committed, sliding on the ground, and Devlin's got there a fraction ahead of the United lad. And they say he's caught him. It's nothing, major.
It's an honest attempt.
Correct. And by the way, Devlin likes a tackle. So if you give it out, take a little bit of it occasionally. Yeah. But for me, I think the United players, that's both bookings. I think United have been a wee bit harsh.
Yeah, harsh, definitely.
Nonetheless, Jamie McGrath, who's not necessarily renowned as a tough tackling midfielder, does go into the book. And Hearts still lead by 2-0. We've played 9 minutes of the second half, and Smith's given it away, Liam Smith that is. And Hearts come forward, and it's Barry Mackay, the scorer of the second goal, on the left-hand side into the penalty area beyond Shankland. It might come back for Mackay here on the left. It will. Just about 15 yards from the corner flag. Just helps it in, flicked on, and then down goes Shankland. The referee shakes his head, no penalty, as United managed to clear their lines. Quick thoughts on that, guys? Any
No, nothing
merits
on
to
that
the
at all.
claim? No.
Nothing on that at all. He just reads the touch that he's going to take and gets in front of him. But good play, good interchanging. Barry Mackay, he's so confident, and honestly, he sees passes other players don't see, and he's just so casual in the way he plays them, as if this is what I do, kind of thing.
Yeah, he does have a very languid manner about him, doesn't he, when he's playing? He never looks rushed or anything there. I mean, I guess that's a real top player always looks like he's got more time than anyone else.
He's quick, but he's one of these lads that glides over the surface. He doesn't look lightning, but he is very, very quick. But it's a glide. He just goes and seems to find another gear. It's not the explosion of pace, but he just finds another gear, takes him away from people, and his feet, his vision are tremendous as well. He's a top class player, and I think Robbie's thing with him as well is to get more involved and have a bigger influence on the match, because he's a match winner.
And he's another one who's been talked about as a potential Scotland call-up at some stage, and certainly his form last season arguably merited it, and certainly started this season in a similar vein. So you would imagine Steve Clarke will be having a think about it at the very least. I think John Carver is at the game today, part of Steve Clarke's Scotland setup. And Brian McLaughlin can bring us news of, I think, a couple of Hearts changes.
Yeah, Liam Boyce is the first player being replaced. Peter Haring will be his replacement. Gary Mackay-Steven is also going to be coming on. Just waiting on the board going up, Al, to see who will be. I think it may well be Alan Forrest coming off. Yes, it is.
Thanks, Brian. Haring coming on for Boyce is certainly a sign for me that Robbie Neilson is just trying to ensure there is no Dundee United comeback, a little bit more defensive. And on comes Mackay-Steven in a sort of like-for-like change, really, for Alan Forrest. First appearance of the season for Gary Mackay-Steven. As Hearts make the changes, 57 minutes on the clock, they lead by 2-0. Sensible changes for you, John?
Yeah, again, this could look a little bit more to Thursday night. He maybe wants voice energy, perhaps for later on, but I'll be interested to see what the midfield make up now, because Haring and Devlin will definitely set. It's whether Georgie Grant moves up a little bit to play, or whether it's just a flat three in the middle there, because yeah, you're right, Mackay Stevens for Forrest is a straight swap.
Yeah, I think Grant will just play up slightly.
United dispossessed. Ian Harkes was bundled off the pitch entirely, but there's no free kick. Good play from Behic. He's stopped by Devlin. Ball stayed in play, and he's found Mackay Stephen. And all of a sudden, Hearts are motoring forward again. Sybil gets the challenge on Mackay Stephen when he arguably shouldn't have the right to do it. But here's Mackay finding Grant inside the penalty area. Cross is blocked, and it spins behind for a corner kick. And it's Hearts 2, Dundee United 0. 58 played.
What a ball by Mackay there. Again, so casual, right in the advanced path, and he's unlucky not to get his cross in.
I think Mackay Stephen, albeit just on the park, might have done better with to get the pass away quicker. But in any case, Hearts do have a corner here, looking to add a third goal against this beleaguered Dundee United defence. Swung in by Cochrane, well away by Fletcher, back doing the defending at the edge of his own 6-yard box. Middleton down the right hand side just thumps it up to the halfway line. Smith's underneath it, Michael Smith. Middleton will try and latch onto his header. There's Haring stepping in. His first action is to knock it back to his goalkeeper and thwart any danger, as he is wont to do. Ball out of play over in the far side. United throw in, despite the claim of Barry Mackay and many thousand Hearts fans around about him. Here's Sibbald, looking to try and make some sort of impact. United have half an hour to try and get back into the game. It's Behic on the near side, the United left. Now McGrath just inside his own half. Tracked by Devlin. As Lee says, Grant just playing a little bit further forward than he did when Boyce was in the park. Good ball winning again by Rills. Hearts have got 4-on-4 here as they come forward. It's Grant out to the left-hand side from Mackay. Mackay, first time ball in, and off his line comes Birighitti to clutch that before Shanklin can pounce. And on the hour, it remains Hearts 2, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, that's the threat that Hearts have got. United are pouring bodies forward. They know they need the next goal in the game. Hearts are catching the break, and that's what they need to do to get Shanklin involved. They must get beyond United. They must get to the byline.
What for Fletcher, and a good header by Rose. What a game he's having at the back alongside Craig Halkett, because Stephen Fletcher was ready to pounce there, but just the touch off the top of the head from Rose takes it behind for a corner.
That was a fantastic touch by Rose there, because Fletcher's really strong in there. That's one of his strong points. And he's got up early and just flicked that away from him.
Corner kick to be taken by Middleton from the right, left-footed, headed away by Halkett this time. That's defending well. Looked like a handball in there, but it's safely through into the arms of Craig Gordon in any case, and he's immediately bowled it out for Barry Mackay to lead another Hearts attack. Not got too much in the way of support just yet. Hearts beginning to get bodies forward now. Cochrane from left out to right to Grant, who kills it with the first touch, and then plays it infield and gets the 1-2 off Mackay Stephen. Still Grant just manages to squeeze the pass back to Mackay past Sibbald, who almost cut it out. Mackay finds Michael Smith at the edge of the penalty area. He'll go for it with the left foot. Birighitti saw all the way, tapped in by Grant, and Hearts have a third. Birighitti saves Michael Smith, but there was George Grant following in to tap in for a first Hearts goal. It's Hearts 3, Dundee United 0.
It's game over, but it's terrible goalkeeping. I'm sorry, that's Birighitti was at fault for at least 3 goals on Thursday night, and that's the same again there. It's good play from Hearts. They've moved up the pitch well. It's not a particularly strong shot from Michael Smith. It's with his weaker left foot. It's on target. That's about all you can say. It's on target, but
it's a routine save. It's a routine save. He should catch it.
He could catch. That's the foreign way is to parry it out. He's parried it straight to Georgie Grant, who's got a simple tap in, and you can see the United boys looking at their keeper there. Yeah. That's just poor goalkeeping, and it's game over.
Yeah, United are not going to come back from this, are they?
No, I think, do you know what? It's great play from Hearts. The interchange, the overlap, they don't use it. Michael Smith comes in, soft shot at goal, and I think you've got to be saving that. He could put his cap on it. I'm not a goalkeeping expert, but I think he could do a lot better with that. He makes a harsh of it.
I think you've called it, Lee. It's a routine save.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as if he's had to dive right at the corner and fingertip it past the post. It's just to the right. It's about a yard to the right of his body, and he's parried it. It's just, I think the Dundee United goalkeeping coach will be raging at that one, and you know, unfortunately for the United fans, who are, a lot of them are streaming out, it's another goalkeeping mistake on the back of what he done on Thursday evening.
Yeah, it doesn't inspire confidence in your backline, does it? When your keeper is giving away weak goals. Here come United. It's Tony Watt on the left-hand side, curling it in. Cochrane away with a good header, chested down by Grant. That's good play between him and Devlin. Devlin then picks up. He was taken down. A couple of meaty challenges flying in now. Devlin's not happy. It will be a free kick to Hearts. Devlin would do well to just take himself out of the situation. The United player, who I can't quite see, or it's Ross Graham, who is down. He's hurt himself in the challenge, and it's a yellow card for the defender to compound his misery. Well, United have a lot to do to recover from these two, but looking like heavy defeats. The next game's at home against St Mirren, and having already lost at home to Livingston, they need to start getting the points on the board and get a bit of positivity about the place again. It was brimming full of it after the home win over AZ. All of a sudden they look devoid of confidence. Here's Mackay-Steven, challenged well by Betch. 65 minutes almost played, 3-0 Hearts lead. Harks feeds it forward for Watt. He won't keep it in. Frustration for United, nothing really going right for them. Ian Harks, a player you can rely upon usually to play the accurate pass, just putting too much on it for Tony Watt. And it's a throw into Harks to be taken by Michael Smith. United, their only win this season was that one at home against AZ Alkmaar, and we all know what happened in the second leg. Here's Devlin for Hearts. Wayward pass from him, presents it straight to Liam Smith. Axel by Shanklin, but does get the pass away to Harks, trying to link with Stephen Fletcher. Behind him though, out comes Craig Gordon. It's going to be a long 25 minutes this leave for Dundee United, is it not?
Do you know, I was just thinking that the way Hearts are playing just now is the way you felt the first half was going to go. When they scored 2 minutes into the game, or a minute into the game, you thought they're going to have their tails up, they're going to pressure Dundee United because they're fragile. Now the crowd are getting behind them. Now you're starting to see the real Hearts and flooding forward. And they've got options, they've got 4v4s, they're creating overloads in the wide areas. They're actually real joy to watch just now. Well, the Hearts fans have refound their voice after it rather went missing for 20 minutes of this first period, but things are going well for them again, certainly, and well might they celebrate, and they can look forward to a European tie against FC Zurich, the champions of Switzerland, but bottom of the table when I looked yesterday, and I'm just hearing that they drew 1-1 this afternoon as well, still bottom of the league, so you'd have to think things haven't gone as well for them, obviously, at the start of this season as it did last, so Hearts can go into that game, that tie, with some confidence. We shall see. We'll have that live for you on TV and radio on BBC Scotland. Rangers against PSV coming up first on radio here on Tuesday evening for a place in the group stage of the Champions League, and Hearts looking to get into the Europa League. It'll be, regardless of which competition they go into, it'll be the first time they've played in European competition proper since 06-07 in the UEFA Cup.
when on that occasion they lost in the first round to Sparta Prague. But European nights here will be utterly fabulous, you would imagine. The atmosphere this afternoon is pretty good as well, it has to be said. Certainly if you're a home fan, as Middleton picks up, he's well challenged by Cochrane. Forward comes Shanklin down the left-hand side. Smith gets back there to knock it out of play. Played 30 games in the Premiership for Hearts himself, Liam Smith. Hearts will have the throw-in. Dundee United, best hope, John, of getting out here with a bit of respectability is that Hearts just take the foot off the gas again. The closing quarter of the game, really.
I think Jack Ross will be hoping for or try and nick a goal, because you know they have got guys on the pitch that can cause problems. But they say Hearts subs coming on are not going to diminish the quality of the team. They can enhance it, because you've seen Haring's come on already. Mackay-Stephen both been involved. They could still bring on the likes of Josh Ginnelly, Stephen Kingsley, and that won't drop the standard of the side. You know what I mean? So that the squad's there, and see, Hearts have got the bit between their teeth. The fans are in full voice now, and you wouldn't put it past them getting at least one more.
I'm sure I saw a wry grin on the face of Tony Watt there as he was nutmegged by Michael Smith. He couldn't quite believe it. That's the confidence that comes of being 3-0 up, I suppose.
I think you talk about the players coming on, John. They'll all be wanting to play in this game on Thursday, so it's competition for places. That's really healthy in a club, and I think Robbie Nielsen's got that strength of character and player in there, and they all know it's a squad game. They're going to be needed throughout the season.
It's a nice ball from Watt to Behic inside the penalty area. He caught from behind by Mackay-Stephen. Penalty kick Dundee United. Mackay-Stephen felt he took the ball, but Behic went down under the challenge, which did come in from behind, and Colin Stephen was on the spot to point to the spot, and it will be, well, an opportunity for United to get back into the game.
I think what happened there is that it's the famous one where the guys went to shoot. Mackay-Stephen's just planted his foot, and Behic just kicked the back of his foot. You know what I mean? He's not. Mackay-Stephen's not
see a lot in that at all.
No, he's not made an attempt to tackle him. Yeah. What he's done is he's put his foot down, and Behic on his follow-through has caught his foot, and that's why the refs give the penalty. I can understand why Colin Stephen thinks it's a penalty, but it's one of them, as you say, it's a chance now for Fletcher.
Yeah, it will be former Hibs man Stephen Fletcher, who's been roundly booed by the Tynecastle faithful, to step up against Craig Gordon and try and reduce the arrears here at Tynecastle. Fletcher scores 3-1 right into Craig Gordon's bottom left-hand corner. He went the right way, but Fletcher got too much on the effort, and Stephen Fletcher makes it Hearts 3, Dundee United 1.
Tell you what, I thought he nearly got there. I don't know if he got fingertipped to it, but in the end, it's
a sign
well
of a good penalty, though. It's a sign of a good penalty. Goal goes the right way, and it's still a goal right in the corner.
First Dundee United goal for Stephen Fletcher.
Robbie's not happy, because, and this is the thing now, you can understand with managers, is he'll have been told, they'll have had a replay of that already in the dugouts, and that's why Robbie's raging. You can see he's still going to go at Colin Stephen here. So I think the initial aspect of it is, I think Mackay-Stephen's planted his foot, and Behic's follow-through's caught the back of Mackay-Stephen's feet. He's not attempted to tackle him or trip him, and that's why you can see they get instant stuff right away. They get it right from the analysts will be firing that straight through to one of the lads with a laptop saying it wasn't a penalty, or he's kicked the back of Mackay-Stephen.
Our very own video analysis can be done by Brian McLaughlin, who's had a view, I think, of the decision.
Well, no, I haven't had a view, but Robbie Nielsen has certainly had a view, and he's insistent that Gary Mackay-Stephen won the ball there, and that the Dundee United player actually kicked Gary Mackay-Stephen's foot, exactly as Robbo said. And I can tell you, he is absolutely livid with the officials that penalty was given. Well, VAR would sort it all out, of course, Al, and it's coming soon.
Don't start that argument.
It's been trialled.
It's been trialled. I think it may even be trialled here today.
Yeah. All right, that was the point I was going to make. I saw the referees looking at the screens down below us here earlier. Not sure exactly what the extent of the trials are just at the moment, but as we know, it is going to be brought into the top flight here in the not too distant future. But it's not in use today, and Dundee United's penalty does stand. Hearts 3, Dundee United 1. Stephen Fletcher with a first Dundee United goal, bringing his side back into the game. And you have to feel now they've got to throw everything at this with about 18 minutes left to play to try and salvage something from it, which even a few minutes ago we didn't think was remotely even conceivable.
No, you felt at that time Hearts were going to get up the target and score another one. But for Dundee United to score that goal, albeit very fortunate, to get the penalty, but are they back in the game? Yeah, another goal changes things, makes it a very awkward last 10 minutes.
Well, decide for yourself whether it should have been a pen tonight. Sports Scene, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel, and again at 11:30 on BBC One. Here's Fletcher, 30 yards from goal, picks up, feeds Watt just inside the box. Sliding challenge comes in from Smith, knocked away by Harrick. Smith had to get that right, and he did, as it's picked up by Graham. Behich tries to help it on, but it's a slack pass from the Australian fullback, and it's Mackay-Stephen. Behich going in the back of him this time. Hearts keep possession. It's out from Grant to Mackay, 2 of the goal scorers. Now Cochrane joins in the attack. Back goes Sibbald with him. Cochrane's inside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Feeds it across goal. Away by Edwards. And Sibbald will pick up once more just inside the box. Plays it forward, looking for Fletcher. Smith does enough to put him off, and Halkett picks up and finds Mackay-Stephen inside the United half. It's Cochrane. Pokes it, looking for Grant. Edwards in the way. United have it back. Just over a quarter of an hour left. 3-1 Hearts lead. It looked an unassailable lead. And the Fletcher penalty has just given United hope.
It certainly has. And both Lee and I looked at each other there, because Michael Smith was far away. That could eat.
It was a meaty challenge inside the box, I'll tell you that.
Just missed times that a fraction. That's another penalty there. But he got it. He got it right. And he got enough of the ball. But certainly it was one you're looking at thinking, oh, it was just a little heart-stop moment for all the fans here in the Wheatfield side of the stadium. Could see just how close that was to Tony Watt getting that little touch, knowing that the defender's going to come through you, but Michael Smith got it.
Alex Cochrane's down on the halfway line, receiving a bit of treatment, and I think he might well be replaced here. There's certainly a bit of action in the Hearts technical area, and Brian can just give us the details.
Yeah, Alex Cochrane went down there, made that bursting run into the United box here, and it looked like he's possibly tweaked his hamstring. But Stephen Kingsley, the player coming on. Josh Ginnelly's also ready, as is Andy Halliday. I think Barry Mackay may have run his race today as well, with about 15 minutes left to play. But yeah, we're just waiting to see who the rest of it is. But yeah, Alex Cochrane has just gone straight up the tunnel, and no doubt will be receiving treatment very shortly. Stephen
Kingsley will come on for a first appearance of the season after injury. I think he had a hamstring injury as well, actually. Available again, and well, ideal for Robbie Nielsen to be able to introduce him, albeit he would have preferred to not be forced into the change. Barry Mackay is making way, as Brian suggested. Andy Halliday will come on for him. And Josh Ginnelly also will make a first appearance of the season. There have been talk, as Brian put to Robbie Nielsen pre-match, that he was on his way out here, but Robbie Nielsen certainly said in an interview yesterday, and also reiterated that to Brian, that he has a big part to play as far as he's concerned at Hearts. He's just coming back from injury as well, so he can certainly be, when he's fit, John. Josh Ginnelly's a real asset, surely.
Oh, you heard Robbie before the game. I mean, he's got blistering pace, and he should actually score more goals in the areas he gets into at times. But you say, Hearts are bringing all these substitutes on, and it's not weakening the team in any way, shape or form here. And it's nice to see Kingsley. Kingsley had a tremendous pre-season, scoring a lot of goals pre-season before he picked up that hamstring injury. So, as I say, whilst Robbie may not have been looking to play him too much, it might not actually about what 30 minutes was injury time to go, so maybe a nice wee time for him to get on.
Here's Halliday, who's replaced Grant. helps it into the penalty. It's a lovely ball, so inviting. Shankland just couldn't make it, just couldn't stretch far enough to get on the end of that. But a terrific first involvement for Andy Halliday. He looks like he's playing a bit further forward than we would usually see him, in that number 10 role almost that Grant had been occupying after Liam Boyce had gone off, but almost justifying his positioning there. Lee with a fabulous ball in.
Do you know, Andy can play a number of positions. When I was at Middlesbrough with him, he was a left winger stroke striker.
Shankland with an audacious effort from about 45 yards, which he caught quite nicely, just not well enough to take it over the goalkeeper.
He's done that before. Championship, bizarrely for United, he scored one against his old team Ayr from, he just turned and hit it. And that's what you saw earlier on there, is what Hearts fans will want more from the Halliday, what Shankland brings to the team. Halliday put a great ball in there, and he's hovering about that 6-yard box. So what we said earlier on, to get the best out of Shankland, Hearts need to get beyond the back 4, back 5, get balls flashed across the 6-yard line.
Into the box. He gambles every time, and 9 times out of 10 he gets on the end, and that's how he scored so many goals in his career.
Yeah, a real goal machine in his time at Ayr United and Dundee United particularly. Not so much in his time at Beershot. That was probably a move that didn't really work out as well as he would have hoped, as they were relegated. 5 goals in his 28 games there. But certainly looks a terrific signing for Hearts. Good bit of business again by Robbie Nielsen and Joe Savage. Here come United down the right-hand side. 3-1 they trail with about 11 minutes left of the 90. It's Middleton on the right-hand side. Just rolls it back to Ross Graham. He's invited forward to shoot. It looked like it came off the arm of Cammy Devlin as he came out to block it, and nothing given as the ball came back to Graham, and now it's Behic for Sibbald. It was brave, certainly, of Devlin to throw himself in the way of the shot, and perhaps the referee decided that there was nothing he could do about it when it came off his arm. Here's Tory Watt. Clips that over for Edwards. It's a slightly strange pass, and it was one that Edwards couldn't bring under control, and then Ginnelli is taken out of play by a sliding challenge from Smith, and then Devlin's going to need a bit of treatment here, actually. I wonder if the ball also caught him in the face when he blocked the effort. Certainly he looks a little bit dazed down there. Hearts have now, I'm pretty sure, used all 5 substitutes, although I guess the concussion substitute can still be used.
Yeah, they could, but they don't want that, because if he goes off a concussion, that rules him out Thursday night. So, he's got to be clever here. Obviously, if he is concussed, of course you take him off, and it's one of these things. The player's welfare must come first at all times, but you've got to beware of that as well. But there's a slack pass from Tony Watt there. United just did that wee spell.
It was so lazy.
Aye, it was just a wee curly, and he put Edwards under pressure there, because United were just what we said. They were probing away there, and if they nick that second goal, and suddenly the whole of Tynecastle quiets down again. But Lee's right, that's the best way to describe it. It was a really lazy, curly pass. He just need to roll it on the deck, and United kept the momentum.
I get the way Tony Watt plays. It is a kind of lazy, kind of, I don't know, you look at him and you think the way his socks are right down, you just think he's not bothered kind of thing. That's just the way he plays. But if he zips that in there to Edwards, he gets on the front foot. The pass appreciation, it just wasn't right.
When you look at it as well, we were saying earlier on, United need to get back in the game, and I think that's the first Arsenal mentioned Middleton in the second half. Yeah. He's a big player for them, and he's not really got in the game. He's not, they've obviously, Cochrane's dominated him, but you've got Kingsley just on the park. He's had a hamstring injury. Go and test him out. Yeah. Go and run past him and see what he's got.
Yeah, there was a good bit of play between Fletcher, started to grow into the game as well. Just that wee link up round the corners, wee 1-2s, give and goes. I'd like to see him getting involved in the game a bit more.
Play resumes with Devlin on the sidelines, having had that bit of treatment. He is going to come back on though, as Hearts have it, and it is Kingsley looking to flight it over the top. Far too much on that, just looking to get his range again as he returns to first team action. Dundee United 9 minutes to find a couple of goals. Sounds very unlikely, and the way the game has gone feels unlikely, but you never know. Once again, plenty of goals in this fixture. As I mentioned, Hearts put 12 past United last season. It was a 3-2 at Tannadice, a 2-2, a 5-2 here, and a 2-0 also at Tannadice. 3-1 this afternoon. Behic high in the air, beaten by Kingsley. Was McGrath back with Craig Gordon. Over the halfway line it goes. Definitely a lot cooler now. I know there's going to be a change in the weather across Scotland over the course of the rest of today. It feels like it's coming pretty soon. Here's Kingsley. Back for Haring, left-hand side, midway inside the United half. Tries the big switch of play out to Smith. Smith knocks it past Tony Watt, and he then just runs right into him, and he gets the decision. And it'll be a free kick to Hearts, midway inside the United half. And so suit Hearts to the ground. It's just what Lee's saying, you know, you're looking at the game now into the last 7 minutes plus injury time, and Tony Watt looks like he's knackered. I'm not convinced the United playing him wide left of a 4-2-3-1 is going to suit Tony Watt. I think if you got him in behind Fletcher, perhaps that might, and somebody with a bit more, with more legs, with more energy in the three behind might help out here. But he just looks knackered.
Yeah, he looks done in, doesn't he?
Halliday's free kick, curled left-footed, easy take for Birighitti, although we say that. And there was a couple of those he didn't necessarily take as comfortably as he might have on Thursday night. But he does deal with this one and gets it out to Graham. Now it's Harks, midway inside his own half. 84 minutes almost played. It's Hearts 3, Dundee United 1. Hearts heading on to 7 points by the looks of it. Just a couple off the top. Tucked in third place, as they were for much of last season, deservedly so. Quite easily best of the rest, if you like. Tony Watt was having his shirt pulled that time by Michael Smith, who I think has enjoyed the duel with Watt. But nothing given, and it's through to Craig Gordon, who just rolls out for Rowles, who's had a quieter last 15 minutes or so after an all-action period for the big Australian defender. Throw into Hearts out on the far side. I just thought United would really throw everything at Hearts for the closing period after getting that goal, but it hasn't really come, has it?
It hasn't, no. Going back to what John was saying about Tony Watt, see when he's in tighter with Fletcher, they're two clever, experienced players. They recognise the wee round the corners, the wee overs, the wee intricate bits of play. He's not get close enough there. He's been kind of isolated out in the wing, and I think Michael Smith's kind of dominated him both ways, defending him and attacking him. So to get them in as a two, but then you need some width over this side as well, and I don't know if Behic has done that. He's not been found enough.
If you look at the Hearts team compared to United, a similar system, 4-2-3-1. Tony Watt's in there, but look who Hearts have employed in those areas. Yeah. Barry Mackay, Alan Forrest, now Josh Ginnelly, Mackay-Stevens, all players with great energy, quick, a lot of things. Tony's greatest is his touch. Lee says round the corners, little manoeuvres here and there. I don't think he's suited to play in the wider area.
Terrific play there between Michael Smith and Haring as Ginnelly and Behic come together. Neither player happy with the other, and the referee and his assistant are going to have to get involved here to separate the side. Ginnelly was almost lying on the ball. Behic was still hacking away, trying to get it free, and eventually the decision is going to go Dundee United's way. Presumably the officials deciding that Ginnelly was just impeding play. And home fans not happy. A yellow card shown to Ryan Edwards. I think it may have also been flashed at Cammy Devlin there. No, you didn't see that, John? I just wondered if that's what the Hearts fans were angry about.
No, what they're laughing at Edwards getting done, but because Devlin winds people up, he goes about there and he nips away, referee nips away. He went right over there, nothing to do with him. Had a wee nibble at Edwards, had a wee nibble at Ross Graham. Ross Graham had a wee shove at him, and then Edwards comes and has a shove at him, and Edwards ends up getting booked, and Devlin walks away with a big smile on his face because he's done what he's required. He's wound up Dundee United, he's slowed the game down, he's got the referee looking at the two Dundee United centre halves.
One of these players that home fans absolutely love, great to have on your team, but absolutely horrible. Away fans always hate him, don't they?
He's a Scott Brown type of player, isn't he? He knows how to get in people's face and press the right buttons and wind people up and get the reaction, because it takes away from the other players' game, doesn't it, if they're worried about or getting annoyed about Devlin getting in about there and nipping away at things.
The best of these types of players can always play as well, can't they?
That's it, exactly. He's got a lot to offer. He really has.
Forward it goes from Hearts, and Dundee United are really just meekly heading for defeat here, despite having pulled the goal back with 20 minutes to go from the penalty spot. They've offered very little else in terms of trying to get back in. Craig Halkett's gone down now. This could be a worry for Hearts ahead of Thursday, particularly with just a couple of minutes left of this afternoon's game.
Yeah, I think Tony Watt just landed on his foot there when he flicked the header on. The two of them went up. Good challenge. Tony Watt won it, and I think they both landed. And I think Craig Halkett just caught one from Tony Watt. But you're right, the game's petered out for United. Hearts have done well. There was that little 5-minute spell after the penalty where United knocked it about, but again, without really threatening. The Hearts just killed it. They slowed it down. Devlin bought a couple of free kicks. Shanklin kept them longer. And they just rolled the game down, and I think the Hearts fans are now exiting knowing that 3 points are in the bag, no problem here. And fair play to the United fans, a lot of them started walking out 3-0, but that penalty managed to keep them in there, and it's only now as we enter the final minute that even there, some of them are starting to drift away.
It gave them a glimmer of hope, didn't it, the penalty? This is the worrying part for Robbie Nielsen's point of view, though. It's picking up the injuries and different things like that, because obviously we spoke about Craig Halkett early on. He's a major player for Hearts. He's massive for them, and he's had his injury problems over the years, so hopefully this isn't too serious.
Yeah, he missed the end of last season with an ankle injury, and I think he eventually had surgery on that after playing through the pain barrier for the Scottish Cup final, and he's looking uncomfortable as he walks off here.
You're bang on there, and that's the worry, because it was certainly his ankle he was holding, and I thought it was just the way Tony Watt landed it on. Maybe he just rolled it when he landed, but as you say, they've got Civic there. It's just a pity now they obviously can't make another substitution, but that's a wee concern that Robbie could do without.
Absolutely. Halkett is back on for the final few seconds, really. We'll just wait for the fourth official to flash his boards on the touchline opposite us. Robbie Nielsen having a quick moan at him as he prepares to do so anyway, pointing out someone else he's not happy with. Here come United. 5 additional minutes to be played then. We're just moving into that now. Can United pull another goal back? The ball comes into the penalty area. Behic on the left-hand side. Oh, it's a great save, Craig Gordon. Fletcher into the side netting only. It was Ian Hart's at the near post meeting the cross from Behic, and Gordon had to get down to his left and scoop it away, and Fletcher just couldn't wrap his foot around the ball enough to get the shot on target, and it remains Hearts 3, Dundee United 1.
Massive save, massive save, because I'll tell you what, if that goes in, you've seen it, just 5 minutes to go, suddenly the nerves return to Hearts there. That's the match winning save, or at least ensures that the 3 points are staying in Gorgie, because that could have made for an uncomfortable last 3 or 4 minutes. But listen, I mean, I think Craig, is he 40 now? Is he not quite?
Yeah, 39.
39, and he's like a nice red wine. He just gets better and better with age.
That's why he's so important to this team. It really is. That's why he's
Shanklin almost gets the break of the ball off Graham, but the big defender manages to get it back to Birighitti, who launches it up to the halfway line.
You look at the big moments in the game, Lee, and there's no doubt Hearts have deserved to win this game. But there's Craig Gordon produced a really, really fine save, and at the other end, Birighitti palmed one out for the third goal. And that's the difference. The Hearts trust their goalkeeper, and they know he can be relied on to make the big save when they really need it. Whereas United at the moment, I'm not convinced the fans or the back four trust him.
There's nothing worse than your back four not having the trust in your goalkeeper, and that's why Craig Gordon's the best in the business. He's still the best out there. He's proven it over the years, time and time again, with crucial saves, because like you say, John, if that goes in, it's an uncomfortable 5 minutes.
It really could have been, but as it stands, we're moving to within 3 minutes of the full-time whistle, and it remains Hearts 3, Dundee United 1. As John said, Hearts really good value for their victory dominated most of the game. And yes, United came into it for a spell.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we said there. The killer goes the third one. You go 3-0 up. It's a routine save. Lee's called it. It's a routine save. He's parried it out. Hearts have knocked it in. If that's 2-1 at the moment, then United could potentially have nicked a point, and I mean nicked it. But there is a difference encapsulated in 2 moments: poor goalkeeping at one end and top drawer goalkeeping at the other.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth his weight in gold. Craig Gordon proved that over the years for all of his clubs, and Hearts fans delighted to have him back here for his golden years. He'll be 40. I think he's a bit like New Year's Day or something. He turns 40. He might have more work to do here as the ball bobbles about inside the penalty area. Eventually Hearts just scramble it away. It's Michael Smith at the near post, and then returned by Behic. Gordon goes up. Well, he doesn't hold that one, and it's spilled out to Liam Smith on the far side, the Dundee United right. United continue to look for a second goal. Surely it would be too little too late even at this stage. And Mackay-Steven comes away with possession in any case, leading the counter-attack. Up to the halfway line he goes, cuts across Sybil cleverly. Shankland made the run. Mackay-Steven ignores him. Still he's got possession. Then he clips it into the penalty area. Behic able to chest it back to his goalkeeper. And with a minute of injury time remaining, it's Hearts 3, Dundee United 1.
Oh, you've called it. It's too little too late. If they'd have done this 10 minutes ago, then they'd have really spiced up the game. And they're throwing everything at it now, but they've only got a couple of minutes to go. It's fizzled out up until now.
Yeah, you expected more from United, having just got that lifeline with the Stephen Fletcher penalty, which may or may not have been unjustly awarded. Here's Graham for United. As the seconds tick down and Hearts edge towards victory. Ginnelly will just let that run out of play. It'll be a Hearts throw-in. And this game is as good as done. Haring offers himself short for the throw-in. Michael Smith says no, just take another few seconds, thanks. Hearts in no particular hurry, nor need they be at this stage, as they are heading for a comfortable win in the end. Shankland plays in Ginnelly. He shows the pace. Could there be a late fourth? Yes, there is! And Josh Ginnelly marks his return to the first team with a 4th goal this afternoon. And you have to say, that does not flatter Hearts. They have been by far the better side. And it will finish here, Hearts 4, Dundee United 1.
I don't think there's any way back now.
To be fair, listen, Robbie, we spoke about it at the top of the game. Josh Ginnelly's pace, I mean, he just left Liam Smith for dead there. I'm thinking it's going to be a hard angle for him. His first touch took him right inside. He blew them away into the perfect situation. They're right behind it. The composure, and that in Europe is gold dust. If you've got Josh Ginnelly busting away like that, one up, even on his own as the main striker, he will cause carnage. And that, to be fair, now probably puts a kinder reflection in the game for Hearts.
More realistic reflection, I think, definitely.
Yeah, well, we expected them to pile on the misery after they went 1 up inside a minute. They took their time, but eventually they did pile on the goals as the full-time whistle sounds in Tynecastle, and the home fans head home happy. Dundee United fall to a heavy defeat for the second time in a matter of days. 11 goals conceded in 2 games. Hearts, excellent value for the victory that was kick-started by Lawrence Shankland inside a minute, tucking home from inside the 6-yard box. To be fair, United weathered an early storm, and Hearts had to wait until early in the second half to get the second goal. What a goal it was. Barry Mackay cutting in from the left-hand side, and as Lee Miller described, lasering the shot low past Mark Birighitti into his bottom left-hand corner to make it 2-0. It was 3-0 just after the hour mark, and again it was a bit of poor goalkeeping from Birighitti as Michael Smith tried to curl the ball away to his right hand side. Birighitti did make the save but palmed it straight into the path of George Grant, who made it 3-0 with his first Hearts goal. There was a lifeline 20 minutes from time, which Robbie Nielsen's still arguing with Colin Stephen about as the teams troop off. A penalty was awarded as Behic went down under a challenge from the Hearts substitute Gary Mackay-Stephen. Colin Stephen pointed to the spot. Stephen Fletcher stepped up and scored his first Dundee United goal, tucking it past Craig Gordon. But there was no comeback to be had for Dundee United, who go and applaud the fans who have remained. Well, their loyalty has been tested over the past few days, and deep in injury time, Hearts got the final goal of the game as Shanklin slipped in Ginnelly and his pace took him away from the United defence, and he tucked it home underneath the ailing United keeper Birighitti, which meant at Tynecastle it finished emphatically Hearts 4, Dundee United 1.
On digital